Mackenzie.
We're back, right?
We are fully back.
All right, so the cast is set.
Cast is totally set.
Microphone is checked.
Checked, 1, 2.
And we're at the Victoria.
At the Apollo's.
The beautiful Victoria.
Ooh, this place is nice. We are going to tear this up this summer.
Something's missing.
Something's missing. What's missing?
Think of it.
Theater. Oh, I know what's missing.
You! Get your tickets
today. They're on sale now.
Please.
Come see Sinking Ink.
Do yourself a favor.
Get your spiritual hot sauce.
Come on.
We're back.
Hello and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding the light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. Today, to talk about Black excellence, we are going to talk about Sinking Ink, the hip-hop musical play coming at the Apollo's Victoria stages on May 7th with two exceptional guests. The one and only Cara Young, who is a dear friend of our program because this is the third or fourth time we interview you. We have been following. I love what you do. You are amazing. And she was a member of the original Sold Out run in the 2017 run at the Flea Theater. And with Nsangou Njikam, the brilliant playwright and lead actor in the show. Welcome to My Harlem Portraits.
Thank you.
So first question to Nsangou. You are a hip-hop theater artist with a BFA in acting from Howard University. I'm talking about Howard because Howard is very important for the Apollo, as we know. It's an important connection. Among your writing and acting credits, I like to underline Redefinition, a hip-hop theater festival reading that was developed and directed by the late, gifted, and really loved Chadwick Boseman. You have written for and collaborated with Grammy Award winner Common. You are a member of the 2015 Emerging Writers Group at the Public Theater, and you have been tracing your ancestry, your African ancestry, and you received your name, the one you bear now, from the Bamoun King in Cameroon. During the press presentation that you had, which was fantastic, all of you were absolutely amazing, you said that the show is a ceremony and a celebration of the Yoruba culture. Can you elaborate on that? What is really sinking in the ceremony and what is the storyline?
Sure. So we think of plays often, and a play in most people's minds is you go sit in a theater and the lights go down and the stage lights come up and actors perform, and then there's an intermission, and then you come back and actors finish the story and everyone goes, yay, and then they go get wine. And Sinking Ink is different in that part of it is storytelling, and the storytelling is about a young man who feels a deep calling to become an MC, not to be famous, not to make hit records, but because he feels that the power that he sees in others is also within himself, but he doesn't yet believe he can do it. And through a series of divine interventions, we'll call them, and through interventions of people who believe in him, he discovers that not only is he supposed to master the ceremony, but his destiny to master the ceremony will keep the world of hip hop, the spiritual world of hip hop, in balance. So the reason we call it the ceremony is because it's not just the story. There's the music and the hip hop elements that are very interactive and will cause people to throw their hands in the air. There's the spirit of the entire team that comes together with the goal of trying to help everyone lift their voice and understand the power of their words. And also because this is rooted in specifically Ifa and Orisha culture, which is the traditional traditional understanding of the Yoruba people in present day Nigeria and in the diaspora, then it's being rooted in an understanding that hip hop is actually rooted in Africa. That without Africa, you don't have breaking and locking and DJing and graffiti and MCing. So we're talking about making connections about history, about lineage, about legacy, and about finding your power through your voice.
And that is a beautiful thing and absolutely needed, especially now when they are trying to eliminate your origin and forget in school the history that was never really told. And they're trying to suppress it even more. So this is a commendable, commendable. Cara, Cara Young, you are an extraordinary actress. You recently starred and shined on Broadway in PURLIE Victorious, opposite co-starring Leslie Odom Jr., for which I think, and many think, you could get your third Tony nomination. We are talking about the power of words, right? So, your first Tony nomination was for Lynn Nottage, Clyde's, and that was also your Broadway debut. Then, in 2023, you got a Tony nomination for Cost of Living. When you get the third, you will become the first Black performer to reap 3 consecutive Tony nominations.
He said when I haven't got it.
I feel.
Right. So what is that you attracted you so much to the show in 2017 that is still so relevant today? And who is Sweet Tea?
Wow. It's the origin story of Nsangou and myself. It's quite beautiful because I feel like I was destined to be this character. Like I was destined to step into her shoes, but like she's taught me so much in all of the years that she's always been present, even in since the last time we've done this. But I guess I've never really kind of went into the story of how I met Nsangou Njikam, and I was like blown away by his brain and how smart he was, and like the information that was just coming at me. I was so like infatuated with his brain, and I ended up reading an excerpt of Sinking Ink at the time, and that turned into a full-length reading. And then I was asked to workshop the production, and then we ended up doing a workshop production, and then we ended up doing another production, 2 productions, one in Houston and one at the Flea in the same year in 2017.
Okay.
And so I guess 2017 was that year, Nsangou, where it was like things started to become crystallized, and I started to really and both productions, even as similar as they were still very different, because we were in Houston, Texas, and then we came to New York, and that was a whole other feel. And like, we're talking about the birthplace of hip hop, we're talking about, well, that's like a sort of kind of, it's relative, like how you feel, like where it came from. But like, because as Nsangou explained, like the roots are in Africa, right? And
but the birthplace in America is in New York.
New York, the Bronx, anyway, so I feel like I got a beautiful education around hip hop working with Nsangou this whole time, and discovering this character and her evolutions and the homage to women in hip hop, female MCs, like it's painted so beautifully and so clearly and so nuanced. This young woman gives herself the permission to be the force of change within herself, and therefore also is like encouraging this young person who at the time is, you know, experiencing sort of a crisis of can I speak, can I voice my voice, right? And that's through the medium of hip hop. And my character is there to encourage and sort of be of guidance. I mean, and so much more. It's weird because I haven't talked about Sweet Tea in so long in this way. So it's sort of, or it's opening up a couple of a few doors that have been just slightly ajar, and
Open them.
you know,
Open
yeah.
them. We
Well,
are
the
here
thing
for
is
that.
that, you know, we've been in rehearsal for 2 days and I haven't laughed this much in so long, and I find myself we're all together again, and it's like it's just really special what what we built, and like what the intention and the 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 commitment to building even more. Like this is not what you saw in 2017.
Mhm.
This is like the what do they call it, Nsangou, when every 7 years you change? Like what is it? Like that your the molecules in your being, like your like all your cells change,
Yeah.
right? Like every 7 years. What they call it?
Regeneration of your cells.
Yeah, but there's like also like we're completely different people than we were 7 years ago, right? Everybody is. Me, you, Nsangou, like we're all different people. And so like this, like we're entering another phase of ourselves, another evolution of ourselves as we dive back into the work, but like with new skin, you know? And so it's just kind of mind blowing to me because we're still digging and we're still opening and we're still discovering, and it's almost as if like even if I speak of Sweet Tea, there's going to be so much more things that you're going to that I'm going to discover, but you might also discover if you ask me it on May 7th. You know what I mean? Like, and then even in that, it's going to keep on going because every single performance is, you know, you're constantly digging and exploring. Sorry, I digress.
No, I love it because that's you. That's how deep you are and how deep you go into things. And that's, I think, what makes you the incredible artist you are. So I'm loving this. And that was my other question was, how did you meet, both of you, and started the collaboration? And also if you want to talk about the other incredible artists, cast members, because I know
Oh my God.
Adesola, I've known him for 25, 30 years, and I know how great he is, for example.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic team. I mean, Kara and I met in 2015 when I did the very first reading
Mhm.
of Sinking Ink, along with our other cast member, Mackenzie Fry, who's also a fantastic artist, Howard alum. She and I go back to college days. So they were the ladies, as is we say in hip hop, ladies first. They were the first two who were a part of the squad, and then Adeshalo Sakalumi, who is in the cast as well as the choreographer,
Yeah.
is a fantastic. We all know him from Fela, and he's, you know, associate choreographer on Hippest Trip, and he's been on stage in Skeleton Crew. So he's fantastic. He's from that early hip hop theater generation back in the 90s when it was a fringe thing and people didn't think it could do anything. He is from that time, you know, and so we have a lot of history just within that. Along, shout out also to Buddha Stretch, our associate choreographer, who helped choreograph "Remember the Time" for Michael Jackson and Mariah Carey's earliest videos.
Wow.
Shout out to Nuri Hazard, who's my fellow DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia brother, a fantastic actor and MC. Elisha Lawson, who, man, Elisha has a fantastic story too, coming from being a military kid in Germany and sort of discovering hip hop there, and then coming into Sinking Ink, and led, of course, by Awoye Tempo, our fearless leader, Chief Ayanda Clark, who is our spiritual advisor and cultural director, and also a co-composer along with Proda, who
Mm-hmm.
played 1-2, who also composed the music. So we have a fantastic team of both returning artists and new collaborators. And what makes this special, as Kara so eloquently put, is this a family, and we come with a mission, and we're like, I want to rock right now. And that how the Apollos of Victoria is going to be rocking come May 7th. So that's why everybody needs to get their tickets, because they won't want to sit down. They'll want to
Yeah.
stand up. They'll want to rap with us. We've had people come to Sinking Ink. Kara knows this well. 7, 8, 9 times in 2017.
Yeah.
So people treat Sinking Ink like it's church.
It
Very
is
much so.
amazing. I can't wait to see that. I wasn't here in 2017. I was going back and forth still, so I'm looking forward to seeing that for the first time. So when you met with Cara, you knew immediately that she was the person for your play. Is that how it happened?
Oh man, how did it when we met?
I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is the first time I'm gonna hear this question, this
about what I
answer, or
thought.
like what you thought. I'm
Who
like,
is this Kara Young?
Tell me, Cara, tell me about that.
well, it's interesting because, okay, so we met in 2015. I was actually originally cast in another play that who playwright who I absolutely obsessed with, who was a part of the emerging writers group with Nsangou Njikam, named Patricia Ione Lloyd. I think she goes by Ione Lloyd now. And she was writing Pretty Hunger, and it was an excerpt of Pretty Hunger, which I ended up doing at Public Studio. I believe that was 2016 or something of that nature. I'm not sure. It was like the top of 2016 or something like that. But I fit the spec, we back in the day we used to spec the bill for Sweet Tea, and so I happened to have been cast in it because they were looking, like, usually actors are sort of used for multiple readings.
Yeah.
They'll hire actors. It's like, okay, well, the character is, Black, starts out as a 15-year-old, and then, it's that, right? And so, and mind you, in Pretty Hunger, I was playing a 7-year-old child who was being raised by a white mother and didn't know she was Black. And so it's like two different. So anyway, so I read Pretty Hunger in the excerpt, and then I read Sweet Tea, and I'm like, it was like, I don't know how to describe it. I just felt like attached. I felt attached, but I wasn't attaching myself. So when I had got, how actors like, oh, this is like, you just put your stank on it. And like, so when I got called to do the full length reading of Sinking Ink, and me and Mackenzie, both me and Mackenzie did the excerpt. And so, and then did the full length reading at the Sheen Center. I was like, whoa, and mind you, these are like the stepping stones of, like, you don't really know what's going to happen. You start rapping, but you don't really know what's going to happen when you're just working and just wanting to do your best. And again, like I mentioned, I be getting so emotional. Like I mentioned, I was just like really, really, really obsessed with Nsangou's brain and like what he was sharing with me during that excerpt. And those excerpts were at Joe's pub, and it was like, and just picture yourself 2015, Joe's pub reading, and then you just don't know what's gonna happen. I digress. I'd be repeating myself, but yeah, I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And then I got the call to do the workshop. It was like a workshop production at the Alley Theater, which we did sort of half of a production and then half of a reading. So it was like the first act was a reading and then the second act was a production. And that I believe was in 2016.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am scared to see the emotion that this brings up in you. I can just imagine how amazing this show is gonna be. Just imagine. I'm gonna come out crying myself. Probably it's gonna be amazing. So,
yeah.
well, I'm excited about this. Thank you for being here. This is beautiful. Both of you, what is the message you want the audience to bring home from this show?
I think one, hip hop is genius. Hip hop is a genius that is the child of a genius called funk and jazz and beat poetry, and the genius of blues and the ring shout, and the genius of the Egungun masquerades and the Gelede, and the genius of, it's a lineage, it's a long line of our genius. So one, I want, when people see a graffiti artist, or they see a DJ, or they hear an MC, or they watch the breakers, that's genius. And we should treat it as genius. The second thing is I want people to understand that the MC is the latest evolution of those storytellers, the storytellers in our families, the storytellers in our various Caribbean islands, the storytelling in from what they would say the old times. That, you know, when people say, well, how is hip hop doing? The storyteller's like, well, first, how are you doing? That's what the storyteller brings. That your voice does have power. Your voice and the way you use your voice can determine whether or not you fulfill your destiny or you got to come back next lifetime. And ultimately, that when you step into your destiny, you're never alone. There always will be people and things that you cannot see that will come to your guide. Now, it doesn't always feel good. Achieving your destiny, they never said it'd be comfortable. But, you know, butterflies, you were talking about regeneration, Kara, like those 7 years can feel crazy, but they're necessary to fulfill your destiny. So when people see Sync and Ink, they're gonna love the rhyming because we freestyling in there. You know, we spitting bars, we're locking and popping, and you know, there's gonna be graffiti and there's gonna be Orisha understanding as all a part of this. And whatever you get, whatever Easter eggs you get, the most important thing is that you're gonna lift your voice, and you'll realize that lifting your voice is lifting your power.
Wow.
Word is bond.
Wonderful. What do you want to add, Kara?
Oh my goodness. I think there's so many things you can walk away, like so many lessons. There's so many lessons that you can walk away with. And there's so many moments of potential metamorphosis with inside yourself with every single character. And I think that for myself right now, as I'm answering the question, which will evolve because I'll have something different to say at the end of our run. But I feel like for me, it's like a Black girl's permission to evolve and be herself, a Black girl's permission to go with the wind, you know, within her own spirit, you know, to follow her own spirit and not be defined by the outer constructs of the world. What I love about Sinking Ink, it's that I love so many things. So that's just this one little baby thing, but there's so many and so many, you know, baby things. But there, it feels like this. We are existing in a world without the forces of like everything else. We're existing in a world where we are able to like have freedom of expression. Not even have, like, freedom of expression is embedded in the culture of Sinking Ink. Like freedom of seeing like Black bodies without like, it's like that, like the world, it's like different than the world. The world of Sinking Ink is different than the world. Like you enter the space and you're different. You're in another dimension that exists if you listen. But it's out there, like this, no, but it's still there. Am I making sense? It's here, but it's, you know, I don't know, but you know.
You're making me emotional because this is a gift you're giving me and all the viewers. That's what you're doing right now. You're giving yourself. This is you. This is Cara. The essence of Cara. I see it so clearly. And I can see that this is your family. And the connection you have is stronger than anything else I've seen you doing. That's what I feel from how you were. So thank you. This is an incredible, incredible gift. And when I came to New York, the first thing I ran into was hip hop. Was Odesolo, one that became my boyfriend at the time, who was a good friend of Odesolo. And I remember, first of all, I had to learn a different slang because they were talking about the crib and she's fly and they're bad and this. And I was like, why you say she's bad? She's nice, you know? So I had to learn the slang. And then I was immersed in this. And I remember thinking, this is the new poetry. These are the poets of our times. And that's what it is. Hip hop is the poetry of our times. So you are expressing it incredibly eloquently. So where do you want to take this from here?
So many places. I would love to take it to Nigeria. I think with the Orisha understanding, you know, myself, Chief Ayanda, and Baba Deshla were all initiates of Ifa. We initiated in Nigeria, so to take it there would be dope. But everywhere hip hop lives, London, Baltimore, Chicago, Atlanta, yes, like take it over to Europe, take it over to you know, to Asian countries. Like I think the beautiful thing is that hip hop is now global. You know, breaking is in the Olympics now as an official sport. You know, so there are so many places, and I'll say this because, you know, a lot of times people go, well, hip hop theater, like, you know, how is that gonna work? And I'm like, yo, hip hop is everywhere. Like it's now people in their 60s who were around when hip hop was born. So there is a large untapped audience for hip hop theater. And I think wherever hip hop lives, sinking ink has a home. And I would love to see this as the beginning of a new wave of hip hop. So shout out to Camila Forbes, the Apollo's executive producer, who is actually one of the pioneers of hip hop theater, and she's how I got my start. But like now we're in this position where a new wave of hip hop theater, a new wave of hip hop theater artists, as well as those pioneers, should be acknowledged and respected and appreciated and given the opportunity to create more work. I agree. This is that evolution of poetry. And now is the time. People are spiritually hungry. People are artistically hungry. People are ready to have that experience that people don't know if it exists in the theater right now. But I think that what Pearlie showed, I think that what Kara shows, I think that what we as Sinking Ink are showing is that there's a new birthing, there's a regeneration that is happening right now that is going to invigorate theater. And if I can just swag out for a little bit, I think that invigoration starts now with Sinking Ink.
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm so happy.
And you know what too, Nsangou? It's like by the teachings of like, you know, I think about Marcus Garvey and Kwame. I think about Marcus Garvey, right? And I think about like the movement of Pan-Africanism and that like this Kwame Nkrumah, yeah, that we are talking about what you have so meticulously put in this script over the last, like the evolution of this script, the evolution of the words on the page, the evolution of the stories, because there's so many stories, right? The evolution of the characters, and like the homage, like and that's like an I feel like when I say homage, it feels so general because there's so many paying homages to so many things, a part of our diaspora that are at the roots of our like the roots before that are the evolution of that, the things that we carried with us, the things that never left, the spirit that's never left, and that ultimately unites us as people that are of African descent all around the globe. And it is for all of us, right? And so like there's just something that not even something, there is the thing that you have, that there's so many subtleties that can really just like feel like when like, you know, like that wind last night,
Yeah,
that rain, and you got out the car, it's like, oh my God, it's like that. It's like there's little moments on the page, very many moments, but that can open a wind pocket like that. Or when you stand outside of the state building and the physics of that building just keeps on, like, you're like, oh my God, why nothing is happening around, but right here, something's going down. The physics and the science of the play and what has been crafted, and is just so lost of words, but that.
Wonderful. My God. Tell me whatever you want to say now to end this conversation. And thank you, because I wasn't having a good day today. So you have just made my day. That's all I want to say. How would you like, what is the message you want to end this conversation with?
Come and see Sinking Ink. Tell your friends, plan a trip. We're talking about the equity and the equitable access to theater uptown in Harlem at the Victoria. You know, this is like go to Red Lobster and then come to Sinking Ink, or go have a drink special over at, what's the spot uptown, Maria?
Well, right there in the
and then
Victoria
come,
now. The
right. Or you
restaurant
at the
there,
Victoria, go
right
to the
there.
restaurant and then come downstairs. Or, go to Melba's and then walk to 125th. I mean, these are the streets I grew up on. So like I literally passed that theater every single day when I came home from school. And it was not what it looks like today. And to be able to step inside that theater, which I haven't done yet, and I can't wait. Come see Sinking Ink uptown in Harlem.
Yes. When does it start, Nsangou?
Performances start May 7th. You can get your tickets at sinkingink.com, and you'll see the full information, the cast, creative team. It's a great squad. This is where the new generation of theater begins.
Yes. And it starts May 7 until?
Until the wheels fall off. You got till August.
Really? Okay, because I thought it was a limited engagement. We need to know that.
Yeah, it is.
Wonderful.
I think our official last show was like end of July. So like end of July, top of August. So, but if y'all buy tickets, maybe they'll want to keep us.
Yes, you want to come.
Yes, what I was saying was Sinking Ink is created by Nsangou Njikam, starring Nsangou Njikam. This is from his brain, from his everything, the last 10 years of his explorations and his studies and his teachings. And I mean, this man, Nsangou Njikam, that's it. That's
wonderful. Nsangou, tell us.
Dang. Okay. Well, first, it's great to have the family of artists back together. Kara and I, like, it's a reunion. We see each other from time to time, but it's a reunion for us to like work together again. So we just got to keep doing this, Kara. That's just bottom line. I got to keep creating shows and then being like, okay, you ready to do this? Let's go. um, this is a special time in theater. This is a special time for hip hop. This is a special time for the word of this interview is regeneration, Kara. So this is all your fault. It's a special time for us to embrace our power. Cool Herc embraced his power, and Grandmaster Flash embraced his power, and the Mercedes ladies embraced their power. And shout out to the actual living person, Sweet Tea, which is different from this Sweet Tea. But she embraced her power, and Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and Public Enemy and KRS-One and so many artists, East Coast, West Coast, all around the world. Hip hop, hip is new, hip is relevant, hip is knowledge, hop is a movement. So this is real hip hop theater, and this is an experience like no other. So ceremonial sisters and boom bap brothers, let's come together and do this.
Thank you. This is beautiful. So I thank you again for your time. I thank you for your spirit. I thank you for enthusiasm. I thank you for your depth. I thank you for your souls. And I thank you for giving me this gift and our viewers this gift.
Thank you.
And thank you, our viewers. See you next time, 12:30 on Spectrum 1993. And when you want to look at the other previous episodes, go to YouTube, My Harlem Portraits, Maria G. Cavenaghi. Bye-bye. See you at the theater to see
That's right.
Sinking Ink. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.